Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. God, I thank you. I just thank you for everything. Hi, y'all. I hope y'all is having a good week towards the weekend. I want to give a shout out to the treatment facilities. No, don't let me forget about God first. Hold on. Open up with the serenity prayer for the addicts inside and outside of these walls. Take a moment of silence. I'm sorry, y'all. The moment of silence for the addict who's still suffering in and outside of these walls. This addiction is real. Okay, y'all. All right. Listen, I want to give a shout out to the treatment facilities and to the group homes and for men's and women's that's struggling with a drug addiction. You know, this addiction is real. It's very real. Hey, Auntie, thank you so much. This drug addiction is very real. And when we realize, most of us have, but it's a lot that happen. The newcomers still coming in. They still struggling. You know, for the therapists and counselors, thank you so very much for what you do. I really do thank y'all so very much, because changing lives matter. Changing lives do matter. I changed my life. Y'all changed your life. Many is going to change their life. And a lot is finding a way how to change their life. I thank them. I'm just in a grateful mood. Spite of what I went through this week, I still got up and moved around on this leg. And thank God that everything went good with that. And I appreciate the prayers and the phone calls and the texts. That means a lot. When anybody think about you, when anybody do anything for you, it's a blessing. Because in this time and age, people's only think about themselves. You know, so when I get good peoples, I want to give a shout out to Tina. It was her birthday yesterday. I got up and fought my way and made it to her 65th birthday. And boy, did she have some fun. And so did me, and my sister, Evangelist Selena Green, went with me. And it was wonderful. Very wonderful. Happy birthday to you, Tina Marie, my friend. Okay, y'all, we are on addiction. And addiction is real. Addiction is a disease, and I hate this disease. I say it all the time, and I mean it. I hate this disease because it have messed up a lot of our lives. It have killed a lot of our people. Shout out to the families who lost a loved one, or a son, or a daughter, or a mother, or father, niece, or nephew, or cousin. You know, this addiction is very real, and today we are going to be talking about 5 different things, maybe 6. Just get into the thing, because tonight is not a step night, but we have to make a decision in our life to not use drugs or alcohol anymore. You know, mental illness is real. It comes along with the addiction. I knew I had it a long time ago when I was using, you know, but they didn't make a big deal of it. But now they do. They see how the mental illness steps in when we out of control and we in that addiction, and then, you know, your depression set in. So, you know, we have learned that using drugs, I know I have. I hate the addiction. but I love being recovered. That's a difference. I love being recovered. I hate the addiction, but I have to take one day at a time. Tonight, I wanted to tell y'all that no matter what you're going through, don't stay there. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because when you're going through something and you're recovering or you're struggling, one or the other, you have to stand on something, believe in yourself, and love yourself enough to give yourself what you need. And most of us need the nurturing and making a decision to make changes in our lives. Tonight I want to talk about patience. When you come into recovery, you're going to definitely need some patience. When you're going into treatment, you're going to have to learn how to deal with patience. Because patience is the virtue of you understanding how to be still and listen. And getting into your book and getting you a sponsor. And I shout out to the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program. We have to learn how to work on patience. I have to learn how to work on patience today, every day. Sometimes, we can get out of touch for a minute, just for a minute. You heard what I said, just for a minute. And get back into our recovery mode. Or the ones that's struggling. You don't have to struggle. Only reason why you all are still struggling because a lot of you all is ashamed to come in. A lot of y'all don't know what to do. A lot of y'all haven't never been clean before. And I know how you feel because I know how I were. I knew how I was. I didn't know nothing about recovery. Nothing so whatsoever. Until I went into the 12-step anonymous program. And that was the best gift, the best gift I have ever known for myself to have. And to follow the instruction, to follow the things they tell us to do. And I did all of it. Because when you have hit rock bottom, or if you have went through, if you have been to jail due to drugs and alcohol, if you have been in a place that you know you wouldn't have never been in if it had not been for you using drugs. People don't want to tell it, but when you use drugs, when you use alcohol, when you use fentanyl pills, all of it is a drug. All of it does what it's supposed to do, and that's kill, steal, and destroy. And it destroys our lives. It takes away the goodness that we see in ourselves. It takes away the love that we used to have about ourselves and for other people. But when you get a God of your understanding, who I choose to call my God, He has never failed me, even when I know I have failed myself and have failed Him too. Because He's been in my life when I have turned around and left Him out of my life. And I'm so glad that He have taught me to work on patience. Some things that, things that I cannot deal with, I don't focus on. But, my daughter did a prank call on me the other day, and she was like, if you got something to say, keep my name out of your mouth. And I'm like, what is you talking about? But I found out later on it was a prank, and she had me going for a minute, but I had to realize all these prank things that's going on Facebook, it must have been one, because when you ain't did nothing or said nothing, then that you don't feed into that. And I did for a minute because she threw me off. But I love my daughter, Felicia. I love my son, Wayne and Johnny, who's gone. But anyway, I want to talk about patience. When I came into treatment, it was one thing that I had to learn how to handle was patience. Because when I went in treatment, and I'm talking to your newcomers. I'm talking to the ones that's texting me. I'm talking to the ones that call me. The only way that you're going to do this thing is being still, sitting still, and learn how to have some acceptance and some patience and some gratitude and some, you have to learn that. You have to learn them. Patience, acceptance, and gratitude. And your patience comes in when you know that you can't use no more. And you have to be still. You have to go to meetings. You have to find you a good sponsor. Not any sponsor. Find you a good sponsor. Watch your sponsor. Like I did for over a year. I didn't have a sponsor to a year. They tell us 6 months. But you know what? I was showing up, going to meetings, and I wanted me to have a sponsor that was going to last me. And then she's still my sponsor, and I love her to death. And I continue to do what I need to do. But I hate this disease. When I tell you that, because I cry more over losing people's, more over going to funerals, more over people's overdosing than I've had ever in my life. Because you know why? I got feelings today. When you get them feelings and you start feeling and your emotions brings on your feelings, and then I can comprehend what's going on me, because it was a time in my life that I couldn't feel nothing. I was, numb at everything. I didn't feel nothing. All I did was got high. All I did was drink. All I did was smoke weed. I kept a job. I was going to always keep a job. That's why I was able to retire from my job. So I thank God that He has brought me a mighty long ways. But I'm telling you, patience. When I had to go into impatient, I had to learn to be patient. But honey, that urge wanted me to go back and leave the hospital and go back to use. And I said to myself, if I stand for nothing, I'll fall for everything. So I had to change the way I think. I had to change that, this is my life. This is what I need to do for myself. Look, mama can't keep you clean. Daddy can't keep you clean. Sisters and brothers can't keep you clean. Cousins, nieces, or nephew, your godmother or your granddaddy, they can't keep you clean. You have to want to be clean in order to be successful, or in order to make that move of being clean. That's what you have to do. And some people there, I was hard-headed, so guess what? I know it's some more hard-headed ones, your newcomers. You keep saying, well, I don't know, I'm not ready yet. A part of me want to, but I don't know if I'm really ready, because I stop sometimes, I use sometimes, and then I go back to being clean, then I go back to using. Well, see, if you don't get foundation, that's what you're going to keep doing anyway. You're going to keep going back and forth playing Russian roulette with your own life. You have to learn how to surrender to this thing called addiction. You're going to have to learn. Hey, Gadina. Hey, Christy. Hey, you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to learn how to surrender to the drugs and alcohol. I didn't want to surrender, but, it had got so bad. It had got so bad. It took all of me. It took everything that I had in me. I just was drinking. I was just using. I found that was an escape place for me to go. So I don't have to feel everything that I was feeling. That was my escape mode, to drink and get high, or, take pills and do everything. And then, the mental illness set in, and it took me to, and when I be saying these things about the people with the mental illness, it's real, and you don't have to be perfect to get it. It can hit any given person at any given time. So don't get that twisted, because even the best of peoples, that's doctors and lawyers and all of it, they went through the same thing. So this disease is very cunning, and it don't want you to get clean. It wants you to stay near-minded. It wants you not to be focused. It wants you not to care. It wants you not to surrender. It wants you not to let go. All drugs want you to do is get high. And I had to make up my mind. Because getting high bring on other health problems. Getting high bring on other mental illness and mental ability to not control yourself. So I had to learn something different about me in this recovery. And it was that I was tired. And once you really get tired, then you learn how to get some acceptance and sit your butt down and start saying to yourself, I owe this to me. I have used more over and over again. I have lied more over and over again. I have told people that I would stay clean. I stopped drinking. I stopped using. And I was still drinking, still using, still doing everything that I was doing before. So I had to learn on my will and my self-centeredness that, look, ain't nobody gonna hold my hand. Ain't nobody gonna come and grab my hand and do the work for me. Ain't nobody gonna sit there and listen to all my war stories or how I got high and why I can't stand. They didn't want to hear all that. It was really up to me. And I tell people it's up to you whether you want to stay clean or not. All you got to do is stay clean and go to meetings and find some recovering friends and associates. I say associates, because I had to learn how to do that. And every new face was a good face because that face wasn't using. So every person I met in recovery was good for me because I was a newcomer. And I had to learn how to stop using. And I had to find a way to get in touch with myself all over again. Patience. And then that acceptance. Accepting that you got a problem. Accepting that you can't keep going through what you're going through. Acceptance. Not to worry about what other people think or what other people feel about you. Accept it. Hey, Charlotte. Acceptance. Come on now. Acceptance. Because people, look, even when you doing good, they going to still have something to say. Even when you doing bad, they still going to have something to say. So that's why I tell you the main person that you supposed to please is yourself. Because, we people pleaser. We pleased everybody. We took stuff off of people that we probably wouldn't have never took off of nobody. We bowed down. We looked on the floor plenty of times for drugs. We went through alleys and we went through mailboxes to get our choice of drugs. Or we went to the liquor store 4 and 5 times a day, drank all night, all day. We popped pills. We did it all. I know I did. And I don't have a problem telling you what I did. Because that's who I was. But the good part, that ain't who we are today. So that's the best part in the world. That we are not we are not our past no more. I know I'm not. I am not my past. Boy, God, somehow learning to accept and get some acceptance about this disease and this habit I had. Habit of lying, habit of running, habit of isolating myself. That's what we do. All addicts do. I ain't seen an addict that don't do what I'm talking about. Somewhere in the midst, you've been there, done that. So I had to learn. I had to learn how to accept the way I was and how to get some acceptance to become a better person and someone different. And that was the most that was when the gratitude set in. Gratitude is something I woke up with today. My best friend, Minister Ray, he's up here out of town, and every time he come to my house, and he spend the night, and I mean, he's my brother. in the spiritual guidance. And when he come, me and him get a chance to talk, and we get a chance to, talk about, some of our past or what we through. But today I was in a grateful mood. I was in just a gratefulness mood when I got up, because my leg wasn't hurting and I was feeling better, because some things that I went through between the 25th and 26th. But you know what? He came in the door. He said, well, now I'm just in this grateful mood. And I said, I am too. We sit there and talk. It was so gratifying to hear each of us talk about why we have so much gratitude. You know why? Because most of us could have been dead a long time ago through our using drugs and drinking. I almost died a couple times because I didn't get to learn what accepting was. But now I'm good at accepting things in my life. I'm good at accepting when I know I shouldn't be doing this or I shouldn't be in this relationship. I got some acceptance today to learn everything that qualifies me to be here. See, I'm qualified to be here. And when we get clean, we qualified to be here. And they said, why do you say we qualify? Because, man, we went through hell and back on them drugs and on them alcohol and all our defects of character and all our behaviors. I had so many behaviors. I didn't know who I was one morning. One morning, I could be Patti LaBelle, and the next morning I could be Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm just keeping it so real with y'all. When you are up under the influence of drugs and alcohol, it takes over. It takes over. And I had got some acceptance. I had to realize, if I keep doing this, I'm going to kill myself. If I keep sneaking and running from every problem, for every doubt that I have within myself, for not letting go of things I can't change, getting some acceptance I can't make people love me or like me, getting the acceptance to know I gotta be still and put myself first so I can nurture myself and get better to a point to where I can stay better. That's the difference. Because ain't nothing gonna ever make me use again. I hate this disease. I deal with people's hurting me or hurting somebody in my family, or we go through that life. And you go through this journey to where you can't change everybody. And you know what? I showed and got to the point where I don't care if don't nobody like me. If I'm enjoying me and loving on me, that's enough for me. Because if I'm nurturing me and doing good and working on patience and getting some acceptance in my life, that I can't focus on nobody else and I can't let their problems become my problems. I can't take care of another individual where he got to learn how to take care of himself. Like me. You heard what I said, like me. I come too far. So I am qualified to be here. I am qualified to tell you that this program works. I am qualified to tell you that if you surrender, if you let go, if you get some acceptance, and if you know what having gratitude means, you'll make it. But you can't play Russian roulette going back and forth. I didn't do that. I was too scared. Because I was good at, once I do something, I stay there for a while. So I knew if I kept playing Russian roulette and didn't stop, and then kept going, then start back and kept stop, I was going to continue to do that because that's what I had been done. You do what you do, and you keep doing it, then that's going to get comfortable for you. I tell people all the time, I had a girl that called me and she said, Miss Renee, I ain't been to a meeting in so long. I don't want everybody looking at me, and I had to check her. I just had to check her. Are you still worried about what people's going to say? Do you know how many people leave a meeting and don't come back for years? And when we have a convention, you'll see them. Or when we have something big, you will see them. Do you worry about, what's more important, you getting your butts back on track, or you worried about what people say? That's why I tell you, if you surrender and work on patience and find and nurture yourself, them things won't matter no more. I know it don't with me. The only person taking care of me is God, the God of my understanding. So what I care about what a person say about me, and you know what? I had to work on that. I had to work on patience. I had to work on some acceptance. I had to work on some gratitude of knowing that people's help me stay clean in the unity of Narcotics Anonymous program. But once I leave that meeting, it's up to me. It's up to me to stay clean. And I choose to live. Because, I tell you today, I'm qualified to be here. And as long as I'm qualified to be here, that says a lot for us, for you, for me, that we qualify to be here. We doing what we supposed to do. We living life on life terms, and we dealing with the things that we need to deal with. And we are learning a lot about ourselves in the midst of recovery. Because we get clean don't mean the thing's not going to happen. I always say that to you. Because, see, some people say, well, I was doing good, I was clean, and then I fell off. Okay, you fall off, you get back up. Some people don't make it the first time or the second or the third time. They time, your time ain't my time. You have to learn how to put yourself in position to where you won't have to keep coming back. Nurture. Getting around people that's healthy. Getting around people that's giving you the push. That's giving you the help that you need to focus on yourself and to enjoy you while you are coming into recovery. It's a lot of people struggling. I tell you what. It's a lot of people who can't read. It's a lot of people who can't read. I know because they tell me. I don't judge them. I don't judge nobody. Because every situation that you were in, I was in too. I was in too. I remember when I couldn't read because I wasn't paying attention in school and didn't want to do it. And then I had to learn how to, if I don't get it, who gonna do it for me? And my mama said, I ain't finna do the work for you. You gonna do it yourself. So accepting is a good thing in your life, because when disappointment come into your life, being clean, or even struggling to get clean and coming in, when you get to accepting that, it is what it is, but I got to learn how to let go and let God work all the situations out. This week and last week, I kind of been with some me time. I went through a few things. I was supposed to go out of town to my friend thing, but something came up. I couldn't go. I had to have a procedure. And I'm grateful for God, because no matter what I've been through or what we go through, or no matter what you go through, you gonna make it. And don't let nobody tell you you're not. Only reason why you don't make it is because you quit. That was the only reason why you don't make it, because you quit. When the going get rough and things start to happen, that ain't when you quit. That's when you keep going. When things get hectic around you and people's is chaotic and people saying things and doing things, that ain't for you to quit. That's for you to keep going. When family members is not loving on you like you supposed to and not doing right about you, you supposed to change your destination, and you got to keep going and don't quit. When troubles arise and something that you can't do, all you got to do is talk to the God of your understanding. I bet you he's already working it out behind the scenes that you can't see. That's how I look at it. I turn it over. And you know, I done got good in turning over things. I done got good with just being with me. You know, a person that done worked on themselves, coming through the recovery or struggling, going into treatment, you know, no matter how many days, months, or years you have, you qualified yourself to be there because you was finally doing something for yourself to improve your daily conscious with the God of your understanding so he could help you get through. You know, I love that I can be patient because that was something that I wasn't good with. I learned how to get some acceptance, even about things that I didn't like about myself. But I had to get some acceptance that I can change everything that I didn't like about me. And I can get some acceptance to be able to listen and learn from other people. So yeah, I qualify to be here. You qualify to be here. Anybody that's working on the program and working on self, you qualify to be here. You do. You qualify to be here. And don't let nobody tell you no difference. Don't try to work nobody else's program. Work your own program. Because working somebody else's program can get you messed up. And then you back when you started from. Because somebody else that's working a program might fail. Might continue to go all the way through. That's why I say you have to work your own program. When I came in, I was gone. I was lost. And I needed some help. And I went in treatment. And many days that I woke up, my eyes was red from crying because why did I wait so long? I beat myself up until a good counselor told me, Sterling White, said, you can't come in here beating yourself up. You got to come in here building yourself back up. Because I was beating myself up. All the money I spent, all the things I worked so hard for was gone. I let the dope men come in and take it. Or I let the dope men meet them. I just, you know, recovery is real. And I hate this disease. Because this disease, if you don't pay attention, you know, it is so cunning, and it, you know, it have you mind twisted and thinking that you okay, and now all of a sudden you got some clean time, and now all of a sudden you going to meetings, and now all of a sudden you feeling good about yourself, and now all of a sudden, you know what, can't nobody tell you nothing. Gotta stay humble. You can't come in here bringing all that old stuff that you used to do out in the street with the dope and the alcohol and the pills. You can't bring it into your recovery. You shouldn't be coming in recovery trying to buy coochie. You shouldn't be coming in recovery trying to pick up people, especially the newcomers. You shouldn't come into a recovery showing money off, you know, and some people's ain't where you at. But I just think you shouldn't do all have the behaviors that you had when you was in the worldly world and bring it into recovery, because then we can't see change. All we see is all we see you at a meeting, but what have you changed? What have you changed? And I had to look at myself while I was looking at other people's. I never lost the focus on myself, but I watch everything. I observed everything. You know, I got two people that's special in my life that I can call and talk to and really, you know, I mean, I got my sponsor. My mother was the number one, you know, but she's not here. So I got my sponsor, but I got two, spiritual women in my life, and I can call them about anything. I can call them and talk to them about anything, how I'm feeling, what I'm going through. Then I can go to my sponsor. That's why that nurturing for yourself has to be in your corner. You have to have somebody that's going to be there when you need a little nurturing from somebody that spiritually can help you and understand you and then talk to you and kind of give you some feedback. I thank God for that. I ain't never going back. I don't care who you. I don't care. I paid the price to be here, and that's why I'm going to stay here. Ain't nothing going to make me use. Ain't nothing. So far, nothing. And the greatest people that I love is gone, and I still didn't use. So that let me know that I had a well made up mind that I'm never going back to the thing that almost destroyed my life. And you shouldn't either. Whoever look at here, you shouldn't dare go back, no matter what happened, no matter what you couldn't control today, no matter what you couldn't control yesterday, no matter who getting on your nerves, no matter who ain't doing right, who's hurting you. You got to find some solutions. That's what you have to find, some solutions in that situation, and find a way, but you cannot use. See, that's what they told me I can't use. No matter what happens in my life. And so much was happening being clean. So much was happening when I was in the process of being clean, doing good for myself, opening, I was a self-entrepreneur for almost 20 years. I had my own business, couple business. I was doing the thing. But did chaotic things happen? Oh, yes, it did. From peoples. From family members, from peoples I associated with, and from so-called friends. I learned a lot in recovery too now. We learn a lot in our using. But when we get clean and come into recovery, we're going to learn a lot in recovery. We're going to learn a lot, man. People might not want to tell you what they done learned, but you learn from other people even in recovery. Or what you ain't going to do, what you ain't going to accept, what you will not take in, what you will not feed in. I ain't doing it. Why? I paid the price to be here. And when I tell you I paid the price to be here, yes, I did. I humiliated myself. I dogged myself. I lied to myself. I cheated myself. I hurt myself. So I paid the price to come into the program and to become a new person. I had to. Hey, I see my sisters on here, Evangelist Selena Green. I always give her crops. She be on Tuesday night. If you want a spiritual connection and want to hear something that comes from the heart, reaches the heart, Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. I ain't missed her yet. Because she's another one of my bread I can eat and get fed. Anything that's going to feed me and that's going to help me and that's going to put some joy and some knowledge, some things that I didn't know, I'm game. I'll tell you about it, I'm game. And so she's on at 7 o'clock at night. Just if you think I'm lying, Evangelist Selena Green, just give her a shout out and see how you get blessed. See how blessings upon blessings will come to you. I'm blessed. No matter what I go through, no matter what you go through, you blessed. No matter who hurt you, no, you came out of it. No matter who denied you, you came out of it. No matter who don't like you, you came out of it. No matter who betrayed you, oh Lord, I done went through all that. I'm good. Because see, all of it, I'm learnable and teachable. So anything that come into my life, you got to be well prepared, because I ain't going to let you in my life no way. Not like that. I'm very picky. Kids say I'm picky. I'm very picky. I'm very patient. I ain't eager for nothing. I'm very self-centered when it comes to that. I have to protect myself. Some of you all have to protect yourself, because see, in this time of frame, this a oochie world. See what I can get from you or take from you. I've been there, done that. So I'm too old for that. I done kind of settled down, and I done learned some acceptance, and I worked on some patience, and I have a lot of gratitude. So I ain't got time for the bull crap. I'm okay with me. And see, a woman or a man that's okay with them, that's at peace, that's got some joy, a little sadness, because we go through things, we miss our loved ones. I get them days where I just cry because I miss my mother. I miss my son. I miss my godfather. I miss my boyfriend. I miss them. I miss them peoples. I miss my friend girls who done died and gone. I miss them. So I have to, in order for me to nurture me and keep myself working on patience and some acceptance, I have accepted that I still can keep them alive along with me. I talk to my son every day. I talk to my mother all through the day. Y'all might not get it, but when you get it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because people die and leave us, and I'm going to die and leave my kids and leave my friends, but you don't let them die in the spiritual realm. I think they all still looking over me and guiding me and talking to me. That's why I love being patient and just listen. When I get on here, it ain't just for y'all. It's for me too. It's letting you know that, this disease is no good. You can't win with alcohol. You can't win with drugs. You can't win with pills. You can't win with lies. You can't win with not forgiving somebody. You can't win without loving somebody. You can't win. And once you learn that, and once you worked on patience and get some acceptance and then bring in the gratitude, then you'll understand what I'm saying. I pay, you pay the price to be here. And what is the price? Well, you really want to know? The price was we stopped loving ourselves. The price was I started nurturing everybody else, or you started nurturing everybody else but yourself. The price was we stopped hurting ourselves over and over again with the lies, with the alcohol, with the drugs, with the pills, with the prostitute, with the hurting ourselves. Man. Yeah, we all paid the price to be here, not just me. Everybody that comes into the conventions, into the meet, we paid the price to sit in that chair. We paid the price to go to that meeting. We paid the price to sit at a table and tell you what recovery has done for us. And for the newcomers who come and stroll up on this page, don't give up. Because see, if everybody gave up, we wouldn't have a 12-step Narcotics Anonymous program. We wouldn't have 12 steps. We wouldn't have 12 traditions. We wouldn't have the 12 principles. If we just stopped and gave up, you can't give up. You got to fight for your life. You got to want to see is change going to come. When they told me, and I went to a meeting, they told me, keep on, come back until the miracle happens. realize we were the miracles because we was able to come back. We was able to tell how the God of our understanding had restored us to some sanity in our life, who had nurtured us back to health, had guided us, the mind, to listen and be aware and love again, to like peoples again, to talk again. So when I say we paid the price, this is everything that the drugs and alcohol took from us, everything that the mental illness took for us, because when we get into that space of the mental illness, we didn't want to be bothered, sometimes wanted to hurt ourselves, sometimes cut ourselves, sometimes hurt other people, sometimes kill other people. So when you get to a place to where you know what the God of your understanding have did for you, yeah, you got to have some gratitude. I have some gratitude. You know, I have gratitude today. When it was for many, many years, I did not have gratitude. All I wanted to use was to use to live and live to use. And I don't have to use today no matter what happens. Feelings still get hurt. I ain't got to use. People still stab me in the back. I ain't got to use. People's come in and out of my life. I ain't got to use. Family members or people's hurt me. I ain't got to use. They said I can't. And I took their word. And then once I took their word, I started reading in the books and started learning that I can't use no matter what behavior comes out, how I be overthinking, how my process of looking at a situation, sometimes seeing for what it is and it's really not there. I don't have to use, I cannot use. I hate this disease. I say that with all gratitude. I hate this disease. This is one disease that I have learned how to tell myself I hate. Because if I hate something so bad, I won't go back. That's why I use that. I had to keep saying that when I was coming through treatment. I hate this disease. I hate the way it do me. I hate the way it make me feel. I hate when I get them urges. I hate how I can't go pick up when everything is failing or everything is messed up or I'm feeling a certain way. I can't go and pick up no more. I have to deal with feelings on a personal level where I have to learn how to work on patience and acceptance and remember to bring the gratitude back in. I have to remember that. I have to sit down and remember that I'm not who I used to be. I'm not there. I promise y'all. I am not who I used to be. And what I was in the past is the past. But what I am today is my future. What it is today for y'all is a better understanding that you don't have to use no matter what. If everybody get drunk around me, they'll stay drunk. I'll be the soberest person in the middle because I am never using again. God has been too good to me. He delivered me. He restored me. He have helped me. He have guided me. He have had a good understanding with me. I have a connection with him that I didn't have before. It's very powerful. It keeps me going. It keeps me positive. No matter what I go through, I know I can't use. And I don't want to use. Because I hate this disease. Because it'll take you and it'll tell you that it's okay. You know, you can use, and just, stay away from the meetings for a while. Ain't nobody gonna know. It'll tell you. This is that kind of baffling and powerful situation I was talking about. Or you can go and be gone for months and months and come back in and say you got all these years, but you within yourself, you ain't got that. See, you can't hide from self, but you can hide from other people. I learned that too. So I can't hide from me. Because me ain't going to let me hide. Because I have a good conscience today. I learned how to work on patience. I learned how to deal with God and talk to Him, the God of my understanding. I don't know who y'all God is, but I know the God of my understanding. When I was real low, I mean rock bottom. I mean rock bottom. You know, have you ever been rock bottom? Do you know what rock bottom is? Rock bottom is in a place where you have no joy, where you have no peace. When you living in darkness, all you see is the dark. You don't see the light. You don't see a better situation. You don't see a possibility. You don't see a forgiving. You don't see loving somebody. You don't see how you getting up. You know, you don't see that. You know, it don't see that. It don't show you that until you stop using. Until you start getting some light back in your life. I got it, and I'm keeping my life. I'm not giving nobody my life. God can take it at any given time. But I love being clean. I love knowing who I am. Don't y'all? Y'all don't love who you are? You don't learn? You know, I've seen so many of my brothers and sisters come in and make a U-turn. You know, I did a couple talks about U-turning. You have to make a U-turn. You know, everything that look good ain't good. And the grass that look green ain't really green, but it look green until you get in it. You know, so everything that is conning and baffling, and then don't get caught up by surprise. Stop getting into a relationship, and then you break up, and then you get into another relationship. I done seen too many of my friends go back and use. How you gonna get into one relationship after another when you had to play a part in that relationship? How? Why? How could I be with somebody 6 months or 4 years or multiples of years, and then all of a sudden after I dump him or we ain't together, I'm right back in another relationship? I ain't never healed from that relationship. I never really discussed and dealt with what went on in that relationship. I never deal with my own personal attacks or behaviors or something I contributed to that relationship, you know, so no, I can't do that. I'm a good girl today. I'll say that. When I was a yonky girl, I did anything and everything. But I'm a good girl. All due to the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous and the Most High, the God of my understanding. When He come into your life and change you, you will know it. And you don't have to broadcast it because people will see it. They will see the light. And the ones who've been knowing you will see the difference from the dark to the light. They will see that. So, yeah, I spent a lot of time with me. And I'm okay with that. I'm so okay with that because it was so many times I should have spent spend the time with me, or you should have spent the time with yourself, that we didn't. We didn't. We didn't spend the time with ourselves. We was too busy nurturing, pleasing, and helping another individual. I know I was. I can speak about me. But today it's about the God of my understanding. It's about me. It's about learning more about me. It's about opening up to something real big. It's about things that I see that I still want to do, and I'm able to do it. You know, I'm so grateful for the few friends that I have. I have a lot of associates, but I'm talking about a few friends. I keep it minimum. I don't need a lot of friends. I keep a minimum. That way, I ain't got to worry about nothing else. Just keep a minimum. But I think that I paid the price to be here. What about you? I think y'all did too. I thank you. I want to tell y'all how proud I am of y'all. I want to tell everybody that gets up on this page, everybody that's going through my page, stop for a few minutes and let me tell you how proud I am of y'all. Whatever situation you was in and you got out, I'm proud of you. whatever person that you had a beef with or you didn't love and you hated that person, and hate is a strong word, but I had that in me. I'm proud of you. With everything that you gave up to help somebody else, I'm proud of you. For every struggle that you helped somebody else out of, I'm proud of you. How you turn hate into love, I'm proud of you. How you turn forgiveness into love, these are things I'm proud of. These are things I am so proud of that we once took for granted of. For everybody who strolls on the page, I don't like all the fighting and all that. I just scroll right past that. But anything to do with kids and their laughter and loving each other and happiness, I'm game. But all the fighting and the manipulating and hurting, that ain't me. That's not me. So I'm proud of y'all. And if ain't nobody else tell you the things I've told you, sit on it. Sit on what I just told you. Everything God made is good. We just choose to make bad decisions. But everything he made was good now. We just went through what you call a bumpy road. I'm so grateful that I don't use drugs. And that stinky, funky stuff, I call it, funny stick. Ooh, that stinks. I don't know how nobody do that. And I was the biggest weed head of them all. I had to laugh on that because I used to go to bed high, wake up high, and now I hate that. I hate it. But see, that's what the God of my understanding would do when you come into your life. He'll take all your miserable, all your bottoms, all your everything. Man, I was a hot mess when I was using. Sometimes I couldn't even tell you what I did the next day. Sometimes I couldn't even tell you how I ended up in the bed with this. When I get up out of some of them beds I was in, and I get up and look at you, and you look at me, and I say, oh yeah, I'm on crack. I'm on something. Because I can't believe that I'm in the bed with this person or that person. See, that's that conning and baffling stuff I was telling you about. See, I always got to put a little humor in it because a little humor what kept me going to get me some help. To laugh at the bull crap, to laugh at the stuff I used to do, to laugh at the thing. I remember one time I was so high and I couldn't understand what this man was doing. That's why I tell you this drug is cunning and baffling and powerful. But I have to put some fun with it because it was fun. It was fun at the time, but miserable in my life, but a rewarding for what I went through and where I'm at today. And I remember this one time I was just sitting there and I was just so high and I was laughing. When I get high, everything was funny. Take my money, take my purse. I didn't care. I didn't pay attention to nothing. And this man, I couldn't understand what this man was doing until I turned around, y'all. And this man, and it was so funny to me, because I never actually seen a person do this, where they take your drawers, and one of my drawers was dirty. I don't know because I was using, but take your drawers and stand up there and smell them. And I'm looking like you. Now I know I just didn't, cunning, powerful, and baffling. The stupid things that I done that could have took my life long time ago, but I'm still here to tell y'all about it. The stupid positions we put ourselves in, we still here. How peoples I heard used to sleep in the dog houses. One of my favorite guys, I'm not going to call his name, how you can go from a house to a dog house. Or I went from a house to a garage house, to a garage. How you can go from one place to another place in the deep of your addiction, in the deep of your rock bottom. And you think that we didn't pay the price to be here and be joyful and tell people that this program works, to tell people that we came out of a situation that we thought we would die in? Oh boy, but let me tell you, when the God of your understanding come into your life, along with the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program, you can't do nothing but win. You can't do nothing but get high. And that's a high off of him that I enjoy, because I hate this disease of an addiction. This disease of an addiction is not rewarding. How do we maintain, letting something take everything from us? Take our joy, take our families, take our husbands, take our wives, take us from paying rent to not paying rent, to take us from having the key to fit in the door, and now it don't fit no more because I'm gone, I'm evicted. Well, how do we let a drug like that come into our personality and change our character, change our overthinking, change the way we mistreat people? How can we not have gratitude? I tell my sister all the time, I said, Selena, I'm so glad the best thing I did was stop using. The best thing I did was start giving all my time and having that connection with God, because he talks to me and I talks to him, and that he shows me, Renee, look, somebody else did what you did and they didn't make it. But now you here. All the crazy things out of all the unseen things that I can't even tell y'all, that we could have been dead a long time ago. Giving ourselves to all them different spirits of man's, and half of them I just still can't believe I woke up to. But that's that disease of an addiction. But now we clean. Now we paid the price to be here. Now we loving on ourselves. Now people's is taking vacations, going back to school. They becoming doctors and lawyers and teachers and preachers, and I mean it's a rewarding feeling to know your past and not bring it into the future, but still make that U-turn to go down back in memory lane to remember everything that God done took you out of. Man, I paid the price to be here. You paid the price to be here. And I thank y'all so very much. Don't let nobody discourage you. Don't let nobody take from you. Don't let nobody continue to hurt you when you done hurted yourself for years. When you done gave the dope man, all your money, all my TVs, all my cell phones, radio. Now you know it's addiction, the phone that you talking on, to have a connection with somebody. And now all of a sudden you want some dope. And now all of a sudden that very phone that you enjoy looking at, that you enjoy talking on, that you enjoy staying in touch with, now is in the dope man's hand. Cunning, powerful, and baffling. That's what the disease will do for you. It'll take you places that you thought you would never go. Don't use drugs. The ones that's struggling, the ones that's texting me, you can make it. But you got to have a will to want to live. You got to have a will to want to change. You got to have a will to have an open mind where you can listen and sit your butt down and take a look at your life and see that you still here for a purpose and for a reason. I know what my purpose and reasons was. Took me a long time to find it, but I ain't going to discount that. I'm just going to brag on. We found it. So thank y'all so very much. I thank y'all for allowing me to come into your bedroom, to come into your lives. I thank you for not giving up. I thank you for still fighting through. I thank you for allowing somebody to nurture you for a change instead of us always doing the nurturing. I thank you. Well, tonight we talked about patience. We talked about acceptance. We talked about gratitude. And I put a little funny things in there that was real in my life that I told you I never had seen. But, you know, we are on step 12. This is the main step. We are on step 12 on Sunday at 2 o'clock. And I love the steps. God, thank you for allowing me to become in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous program and to learn all the things that I've learned and met all the wonderful peoples and the peoples that I love. I haven't seen nobody in all, but I will next week. I'll be on it. I miss seeing my faces. We on step 12 on Sunday, and that step is having had a spiritual awakening. As a result of all these steps, we try to carry the message to an addict and to practice these principles in all our affairs. That's a good step, y'all. That's the last step of the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous program. I've been studying the 12 traditions. So I'm going to probably start putting in when I read one, you know, step 1, when we start back over, then I go for a few minutes, maybe 5 or maybe 15 minutes to talk about the 12 principles. So I'm going to kind of merge them in together. And the 12, I might do the 12 traditions first or the 12 principles. But I'm going to have a talk with God on that one and see which one he want me to start first. But I will be bringing that to y'all as we get back on step 1. All we do is start back over from 1 to 12 each week. And so people that cannot read, people don't know how to read, and for people that love to listen and just take in, these are, and if that's not for you, okay, you can just stroll, but it's for the people that really need it, and it's been a whole bunch of people that really need it. And if ain't nobody told you that they love you, tell them that Renee Williams said that she loved you no matter what. But I want y'all to remember this, for the newcomers, and for the ones that's still in recovery, and for the ones that still got multiples of years, whatever. We cannot use, no matter what happens in our journey, even in our recovery, once we get clean. We have to maintain that we cannot use, no matter what. Because if we do, then we go back. And we miss up all that time we had, all that years we lost, had gained. But guess what? If you fall, you get back up. If you fall, you get back up. If you fall, you get back up. That's why I love God. Because no matter how many times I failed, or how many times I thought that I would never amount to anything doing drugs and alcohol, I made it. So I thank y'all. See y'all. Continue to stay blessed. Have a safe weekend, you know, and it's finna start getting dark. You got to turn your clock. I believe it's an hour ahead on Saturday night. Don't be mindful. Tell somebody else the time. Turn your clock. It's ahead on Saturday night. So now it's going to really get dark early. So I thank y'all so very much. God is good all the time, and all the time my high power is good. May we bless you, our most precious Heavenly God. I thank you for having us. Let us have a wonderful broadcast today. I enjoyed the peoples that was on and the ones that's going to come on later. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for waking us up all this morning, waking everybody up. Thank you for letting us be clean. Thank you for letting us discover who we are. And thank you for loving on us until we was able to love ourselves. God bless y'all. Y'all take it easy, and I'll see you Sunday. Have a good night, y'all.